Welcome everyone. The topic for this video is result-based management approach for people for performances. Yes, we are talking about RBM. RBM is the acronym for result-based management for this particular presentation. And how do we enhance people performance thereby? So let us understand RBM. What are the concept, principles, and the result chain? Now, this forms the agenda for this presentation. Presentation being very short and very sweet, to the point. If you can follow it out, I am sure you are going to draw good examples of your set for or of yourself for your followers and team members. So basically, we'll define RBM or result-based management, the principles of RBM as the case might be, the main analytical tool of result-based management, the result exactly, the result chain and its element, and thereby the indicators. Therefore, so let us proceed with the definition. Remember, what is result? It is output, outcome, or impact divided by the input that comes around it. That is what a result is all about it. If you can come up with the output without the input and outcomes and impact, this is what is result. It is a management strategy focused on performance and achievement of output, outcomes, impacts, and that what we'll talk about is result. A participatory, a team-based approach for management designed to improve program as such, as the case might be, the management for effectiveness and efficiency. If you look into it, accountability that focuses on achieving a predefined result. If we have, no, whenever we embark upon our work, whenever we embark upon a project, whenever we embark upon setting up an objectives for the organization, the goal is first defined, and that is what we are looking into it. How far have we achieved the goal? How much we have achieved in what kind of inputs that have come across with it, which will determine how efficient we are. So it's a participatory team-based approach for management designed to improve program and management effectiveness, efficiency, accountability that focus on achieving the predefined result as the case might be. So let us understand and work out the principles of result-based management for people participation, and and therefore the improvement in performances, thereby decisions guided by the evidences or result of our work on those who are supposed to work for it, supposed to get benefited. Now, what are those principles of result based management? Now, keep your result very simple. Keep on as people start learning things as they are doing with the process of going around it. So if you keep the result simple, very well, very people will understand. But if you keep the result very complicated, as in average revenue per user, ARPU, average revenue per users. Now, users might be your clients or customers, but why don't you do it in just the production in a day? Number of production in a day, number of sales in a day. Why go for further calculation of being an average revenue per user and then probably enhance productivity and stress upon it? For the layman, keep the result as simple as possible, and the simpler the result, the people will get more motivated by the resulting about it. So learning by doing is one of those things that comes across if we go by the result based approaches. This is what we are looking for it, right? Now, then comes broader application. Now, why do we have this broader application? Now, if we can say average revenue per users vis-a-vis total production TP day, total production per day as per the thing. So TP day is very clear. It can be in any production, be it in the steel industry, be it in the cement industry, you name it and we go around it. Or say occupancy. Occupancy can be there for the hotel industry, for the hospitals, for anything that requires, let's say, airlines industry, the travel industry. So what is your occupancy rate? So keep broad applications which can be uniformly applied on any of the levels on the similar industry. Partnership, yes, collaborating and arriving at a common understanding for with the stakeholders as the partnership is concerned. The accountability, providing a work environment where accountability for delivering result is clear and probably assured as the case might be. Yes, we should ensure that principles of result-based management should be crystal clear to every stakeholders, as in they are transparent for better understanding and reporting of the result. So principles are very clear for you. They are simplicity, learning by doing, broad application, partnership, accountability, and transparency, as the case might be. Let us understand the most important analytical tool of result-based management is a result chain. And what exactly is a result? A result is nothing but a describable, measurable change in the state that is derived from a cause and effect relation. Remember, I said TPD is total production per day, or ARPU, average revenue per user, or I said total occupancy. So what are we looking into? The cause and effect per day, on a day basis, on a time scale basis, on your load basis, and so on and so forth. This means that result is a change that can be observed, that can be described, and in most importantly, that can be measured in one way or the other. So the term goals, purpose, output, and outcomes are different level of result. So this is what we are looking for it. About the goals, the purpose, the outputs, and the outcome. Remember, result has to be identified. This paradigm of smarts, which is smart. This time I've used something called an extra S with the smart level. Smart is all about specific. The result has to be specific, has to be measurable. Remember, anything that can be measured can be managed. Achievable. Now, once we say achievable, we should not have a rocket science result, as in we are working in absolute cutting edge technology. That is not what is expectations around it. We should be making for R as in relevant in the terms of the business that we are working for it. Time bound results, sustainable result, and so on and so forth. The extra S is for sustainability. Now, what is sustainability? That means we are working in an organization which is going to be existing beyond beyond time, wherein the organization will not cease to exist just because few members leave the organization, or few member of the industry doesn't get evaporated overnight. So it should be sustainable in the process, and we should remember this thing and make it much more analytical as far as the result chain is concerned. So here comes it. What is a result chain? We have been talking about result chain time and again as on when on basis. I have said it is a causal sequence in the planning and development of intervention. Remember, we are talking about intervention. So these are on the short-term basis, input, activities, and output. But when it comes to result, it is from output, outcomes, and impact that comes around it, be it a short-term, medium-term, and a long-term. So this is the possible pathways for achieving desired result, beginning with the activities through which inputs are mobilized to produce specific outputs, and culminating in outcomes and impact and feedback, as the case might be. This is what we are all about it. So 5 links. I will recommend those 5 links of result change for you to understand in total clarity. Inputs, the financial inputs, the human inputs, the materialistic inputs, to implement those activities or the processes of a company. So we have men, money, and material as an input. Now, activities is the transformation process that these things goes in tandem with which each other, so as such as funds, the human, the transaction analysis, the material, the other type, whatever comes around it, does it mobilize, what does this process comes around it to come with a specific output. And this output, you remember, is the end product. Now, in this particular slide, I've said is a process indicator. The output is the short-term consequences of activity. Probably you have built in steel, or you have manufactured cement, or you have manufactured some pharmaceutical ingredients. So almost entirely under the control of the manager. So remember, these are the 5 result links which comes around it: input, activities, and output within the manufacturing session that comes around it. But when comes the other thing, this is a very short-term activities. You are within the control of the managers, right? But now it becomes beyond the control. Probably, if I may say, to a certain extent, there might be a control in terms of promotion, prices, probably things that comes into play, but partially and totally beyond goes beyond the control. the outcome might be partially within the control of the manager, but impact is beyond the control altogether, absolutely beyond the control of the manager. So it's a medium-term consequences of the interventions outputs and the product that you have manufactured. I said it might be a steel, it might be a pharmaceutical product, it might be a cement that you are producing, but the impact can have a longer term effect, which is which probably the reason why we wanted to intend to make an impact, the reason why we started with an organization. The intention should be good, the impact can be mostly good, but at times it can go wrong to a certain extent, as the case might be. So indicators and targets, indicators, what we decide to measure to get the information about the performances. Indicators are available in every level. If I say about the result chain, remember in an input, what are the resources that we utilize in, how many manpower, what amount of fund, what amount of quantities of ingredients and materials that have been used in. So please understand those input. In terms of output, it will be in order to produce short term to medium term, the number of product that you have come across with, the number of kgs or tons of product you would be looking into it. Outcome and impact as the KPIs level is the key process indicators, with key performance indicators are measuring of the qualitative result of the output with beneficiary, attendance rate, survival rate, repetition rate. These are just an example. The last one would be your target is the expected value of the performance indicator after, should I say, a specified time, as the case might be, is the indicator that we look all across with it. So I'm giving you an example of indicators and target. Mind you, this is just an example. And for you to understand what exactly is the activities, output, outcomes, and the impact. Now, outcomes can be short term, medium term, and medium to long term in terms of some training for a community. What does it goes around it? What trainings things? What are the long term impact and the higher attendance, the impact does it happens with their families and so on and so forth. Similarly, the target, if you are targeting training for 3 members for each of the companies training, let's say by certain years, certain things, and so on and so forth. So we can always, now why have I done with the target with a year is giving you a time frame so that we can have a short term impact, medium term impact, and long term impact that goes around it. So these are the reasons what we come across. This is just an example for you to understand as to how to set result based management approach for people performances. This is an indicator, this is, please treat it as also a template for your usage in your company and during your working life process. You can definitely utilize even in your personal life, but just for your understanding, this has been done. Yes, this is an excellent indicators and target table template, whatever you want to call it out. So preconditions of result based management, there is a process to monitor, there is a process to plan, there are budgets that needs to be consumed, because once these are consumed can only produce desired result in a democratic country. For that matter, at the central government at the federal level, this means the government might shift resources to the performance. Not always the case, mind you, this is not always the case, depending upon the priorities. At provincial level, or should I say at a local governance level, means the resources can shift their priorities as on when on required. We will talk about the clear results to have been identified and measurable result chains are spelled out, indicators and target to assess performances. The data collection processes are there, clear and timely reports available. Remember, we are talking about result based management. The result chain needs to be adequately spelled out, mentioned clearly, accessible and understandable. It should be absolutely simple to understand. Indicators and target is what we are looking forward toward is the clear timely report should be available as on when on basis. Remember, the organization, or should I say the management culture, should be result oriented, because then only they can take fruitful decisions by the stakeholders actively demanding and the use of the performance information as the case might be. So this is what we are talking about here. The organization and the management culture is a result oriented. So this would actually means what? Means that the managers are provided with incentives to achieve results. So everybody will be focused. No one is going to helters and skelters. They are all in one simple direction of optimizing production and performances, thereby in practice managers are assessed to do their ability to disburse their budget and carry out their activities and prune cost is thereby absolutely keeping everybody on the tenterhook. So let me end it this presentation with the summary altogether. Remember, result-based management strategy is result oriented. For example, at the outcome level, we are looking to aim an attendance of 70 to 75%, let's say given a 2 years time. So we are numerically going establish expectation at an outcome level, spell out the result chain as clearly as possible, answer any one thing that leads to another. For example, if we train employees and if we train what else, so a percentage of employees every time you remember, you will see within 5 years, 5 years of training, every employee would have undergone one or the other training process. So there comes the motivation level. Report again results. This is what we are looking. If possible, other factors which influence a result chain expectation. Remember the last one. Plan for the next period based on the report. Result will tell it to you how to proceed in the future. With these few words, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.